was distracting him. North let the blades of grass drop to the ground. "It's obvious, isn't it?" said North. "Come on, think. Swift." If they hadn't been such close friends, Swift might have decked North. Yet the timing was no good. Right now he really needed his friend and teammate for a very special task. "Not to me, it's not," said Jimmy, and he licked his fingers just as he did every few seconds to improve the traction there. "Look, I need to clear my mind, okay? Not fill it up with stuff I'm never going to use once in my life." North tapped the bottom of his cleats clean and said, "Let me spell it out for you then. We could be standing on an intellect, perhaps surpassing our own, and we're stomping all over its neurons, Jimmy, the delicate yet critical canopy over its nuclear engine. Do you truly believe that such a profound concept has nothing to do with you?" "Looks like grass and dirt to me, Merle, but then I'm just a dumb poli-sci major." Swift looked up into the bright lights and stiffened when he saw what was coming. "Forget the cortex, Merle. Time to go to work." Swift performed a little jig to get the circulation going in his legs and licked his fingers a final time. He cast one last look at the flagpoles, which were barely visible now, what with the low cloud cover and the rapidly failing natural light. Then he set himself to wait as the screams plummeted down upon the two men like August hail, and the ground shook like an earthquake barreling their way. A smile eased across Swift's face. This was his time to shine, and like any young man gifted with extraordinary ability, he meant to let it rip. North looked up, saw what Swift saw, strapped his helmet tight, inserted his mouthpiece, and squatted to lower his center of balance. His heart rate had nearly doubled with the adrenaline spike, and he knew Swift's had too. And yet North had a relative calmness about him that came from the most basic of all endeavors, preparation. In fact, he was never more ready in his life, and he was about to do something that, if it played out as perfectly as it had in his mind the last week or so, would literally rock the world. Chapter 2. The football descended upon them from out of the murkiness of the stadium lights. Overcast skies pregnant with rain had further aged a gloomy Saturday afternoon into an early melancholy dusk. It would have been difficult to see a plane coming at them from out of the blinding crest created by the banks of 1,000-watt stars that ring the stadium. Yet, as usual, Swift fielded the blob of leathery pigskin that plummeted from the sky with an athletic grace he possessed in enviable quantity. For his part, the blocky, slower-footed, and yet extremely capable North eased back on his right foot and established a firm center of gravity on the possible cortex of a potentially large intellect lying beneath them. He silently counted to 3 as he eyed screaming, barbaric young men charging at him and Swift. This fanatical, some would say infantile, group had been transported into the civilized world for 4 quarters every Saturday in the fall across the length and breadth of America's college football empire. The cries from the stands echoed the brute's battle hymn as bloodlusting spectators, now mere ghostly outlines in the diminished light, silhouettes of Johnny Rebs or Union Blues, hungered at the fog tree line moments before the deadly clash, leaned forward and awaited with glee a violent collision of young, strong bodies that was bare seconds from occurring. Not even patrons of the Roman bloodbaths, snorting their fix of human pain and cruelty, had ever witnessed anything quite so spectacular in its potential for glorious mayhem. With an explosive burst, North took off running. He said not one word, uttered not a single reciprocal scream, for he was saving every ounce of energy he had in order to transfer it onto others. As Newton's third law of motion dictated with a majestic certainty, when an object exerts a force on a second object, the second object exerts an equal and opposite force on the first. And at least for now, E did approximate mc squared, though North was working on alternative theories that were holding some promise. Yet for his purposes right now, all that mattered was angle, speed, and weight displacement, and the use of power against itself to maximize effect beyond all reckoning. For the individual parts were very often not so great as the entire throbbing whole. What was rushing headlong at him...